Just like, dude, so it tripped me out. I was telling my wife about you. And I got this picture. So like you grew up on this street, like, right?
Yeah.
Like, right in this area.
165 Patterson, probably the only address I remember from my using days.
Like how, so like this street's a trip, bro. Like I love being down here. You know, that was one of the reasons like we moved down here. Cause I felt like, I felt like it'd be cool to have SOAR be like a bright light, like a nice little healthy community. And we put that basketball hoop out here, you know, and all these kids come over and play hoop at night and they'll lower it and play dunk ball. Like I see it all the time. You know what I'm saying? And that was but I wanted the neighbors and everybody, and I think it's getting there. I wanted the neighbors to know that this is like health right in their neighborhood. Like we're fighting addiction.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so like when you cut me deep when you were like, damn, bro, like I grew up right here.
Yeah, my cousin lives 2 doors down right now as we speak.
No way.
I swear. And her son just passed away from alcohol. For real. 30, I think he's like 33 years old too.
Wow, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so what'd your childhood look like? Like in this area?
Okay.
So how old were you? Like how long did you live here?
Well, so I'm from all around Ogden, but by the time I moved down this way, I was probably like barely like 15, 14.
Yeah.
And so that's when, you know, I was really starting to get into it.
Yeah.
But, you know, I grew up like going to, I don't know, are you from Ogden?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in South Ogden.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
you know where UN Elementary is?
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of grew up in that area.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll probably know when some of the stuff that I talk about then because, you know, I started out at like Head Start right down the street.
Yeah.
Right down the street.
Yeah. What's Head Start?
Head Start is the, you know, preschool for those who can't afford preschool.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lady named Bobby Daniels, big pillar of this whole community.
Really?
Help establish Marshall White and always been a part of trying to just bring the kids into something positive.
Wow.
She taught my mother in Head Start. This is like like my mom's 5 years old. She taught my sisters. She taught me, and
there you go.
Some of my children had went through her. So
wow.
she taught over there right here in this a block away.
What's her name?
Bobby Daniels.
Wow.
She's passed away now, but her family is known around here for just being advocates of the community.
Right.
And so you know, I think she was going on like 50, 60 years of teaching at the time. So that was the first influence on myself. When I went to Head Start, you know, I was, you know, just to talk about a little bit of this backstory of the childhood, because it's kind of stems from after I reflect later on in life, I see some things, you know, and you're like, oh, that part.
Right.
And so, you know, my dad, he was, you know, an 8th grade dropout, ended up going into the military. He's from Mississippi.
Right.
Went to Germany, you know, all that stuff in the 70s, ended up being pushed over here after he got back, graduated with like a GED and whatnot. My mom, she dropped out in like 6th grade or something. So she had a low education. But by the time I came around, she got with my dad, and she had already had 4 other children from 4 different fathers.
Right.
You know, and that's why I'm a big proponent right now of the ACEs. It's a good thread that shows all that links through all these different avenues of a child's life.
Right.
You know, the environment, the genetics, all these different social things that affect it, and it's just not one. You know, it's just not one thing that made it like, so.
Damn. What's ACEs?
ACEs is a measuring stick for children to determine if they're likely to end up with substance use issues.
Wow.
Yeah. And so they test teenagers now and even before then just to see how likely, like if you grew up with one parent, boom, you got a point. If you grew up with some types of substance use in your home, that's another point.
Right.
You know, if you grew up with no family support or you grew up not being, pushed to go to school, that's another point. So these points start to add up, and then you're more likely to end up with adversity. So that's what it stands for.
There's a test for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. You know, well, so God has placed me. So I was at Ben Lomond. I was a vice principal at Ben Lomond for 2 years.
Okay.
Which, bro, like, I love that school. Like, so it's like Ben Lomond's like 65, 70% Hispanic. Mm-hmm. Good kids, like unbelievable. But there's a lot of poverty.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just I think the boundary's a little further down that pulls Ben Lomond, you know. This is probably Ogden High, right?
Right.
This is go up to Ogden High. But
very similar.
But poverty, like what you're talking about is like what leads people like families and stuff into poverty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, because
poverty is a part of it.
Yeah.
But like, you know, obviously, if you're going without simple base needs, then you're likely to succumb. Like if mom's a single mother and she out there just trying to, you know, clean houses for a living, and she can't be on top of you when you're 12 years old, how likely are you to just go turn to the streets? Like it's just, it's not nothing intentional, but it's just lack of resources. Yeah. And so it makes you more determined to end up doing things that normally you may not do when you have a place like this who can lead you kind of through a little bit of a path.
Right.
You can't you can't still determine if that you're going to end up doing some crazy stuff, but at least, you know, they say the most crucial hours of the day for a teenage boy is the time from about 5 to 8.
5 to 8.
That's when things. When things. Yeah.
Hey, make sure his head in the screen at all. He's good.
Yeah. It looks great.
I just didn't know if he might have been leaning.
No, you're perfect.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. 5 to 8. That's when I get all my energy.
Right. Right. And that's when, you know, usually, you know, if you're not being supervised, then you get into some stuff that
bro,
not everybody gonna know
so
about.
what it looked like for you, like at that age when you were in this street, like what did your if you want to talk about it?
Oh man, I'm transparent. Like I said, I identify as a person in recovery, so like I'm like a Power Ranger of this shit. I'm a represent because if I don't, like that's how the little nephew don't get the help he needed.
Yeah,
you know,
it's true, bro.
So I don't mind. I don't mind. So and just to elaborate just more on a little bit of that adversity stuff is being my dad was from Mississippi. He never knew, you know, really how to be a man. So his guidance was lackluster at best. My mom didn't know what was going on, what was really going on, because she was just trying to, you know, she was just trying to do whatever she thought she could do as a mother at 15 years old or whatnot. But basically, this was a pivotal point in my life just because back in the 80s, right, early 80s, domestic violence wasn't domestic violence. You know, it could be said that I don't even know if it was a thing, a charge, you know, just like DUIs. Like I know people from the 80s that have like 15 DUIs. It wasn't like 3 DUIs. Now you go to prison, boom, boom, boom. Yeah. None of that was there yet. You know, you just drive in the back of Grandpa's truck while he drinks his whiskey out the bottle and we good. But they had a tumultuous relationship and my dad was very abusive. What ended up happening when I was about, I think it was 84, when I was about 5 years old, my mom ended up having to go into my dad's safe and grabbed his Derringer pistol out of there and boom, put 2 shots in the back of his head. Wow. And so that kind of was pivotal for me looking back in hindsight, just because now I'm like, oh, now I lost my dad at this moment and I lost my mom. Yeah. So now I'm like, okay, like, you know, as I replay this tape, as I rewind and play that tape back, I'm like, that was crucial. Wow. Just because my mom ended up going to prison and stuff. And
were you in the home when this happened?
That's so fun. It's actually one of the most vivid moments that I ever remember. I wasn't in the home. But what I do remember was, and I don't know if you remember Bell's Mini Mart. Damn, sorry.
It's all good.
Bell's Mini Mart was a little penny candy store over here on 22nd by D School. Right. And we, as kids, we used to be able to go in there with $1 and boom, we should load up. Chico sticks, you know, little Swedish fish, and we used to be balling with the little brown bag of penny candies. But I remember this day my mom had sent my sister out, and she told her, hey, I want you to take the kids out, take the brothers out, and allow them to get anything they want. And obviously she gave us food stamps. Back in the day when there was the little book and like you were balling.
I've never even seen that.
Okay, I think you could buy them on eBay for like a lot now.
No way.
It's kind of funny, but they're nostalgic because they're actual currency. Yeah. And my mom used to be like, you know, this was a form of laundering because my mom used to make us go, not make us, I don't want to say make us, you know, but she used to have us going to the store. You know, and since you couldn't buy any hot food or, you know, you couldn't put your cigarettes or gas with these things, she used to go in there and make us like, boom, go in there. I want you to buy a little 5-cent candy, boom, get that change. And all 5 of you come back, give me that change, and I'm going to run it back, and then I can get some cigarettes or some gas money.
Wow.
So and this was a thing. So now I look at it, I'm like, damn, we were laundering money when I was 5 years old. But it was cool. It was cool because this particular day, she said, go ahead, take them out and let them have anything they want. And she didn't put no stipulation like, hey, you can't only spend 25 cents or less.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that was profound for me because then we were like, boom, we were getting we were getting whole bags of chips and Pringles and Lucky Charms and all this stuff. And needless to say, we started walking back to the house, coming back from Bell's, and that's when I just seen my grandparents there and all the commotion of what had just happened.
Wow.
And so and mind you, I didn't really know what was going on because I was 5. So then then from that point, we just basically got shuffled around from home to home, like, you know, foster home, proctor home, you know, aunts and uncles and different kind of places like that. So yeah, that was a influential part of my life that I feel like opened up this door of like, okay, this path is now this fate is now going to lead to a lack of direction. Yeah. You know.
Well, so your mom ended up going to prison.
Yeah. Good thing about that is that I don't want to say good thing. I don't even know how to. It's a very paradoxical like situation because never did I blame my mom for what she did. Yeah. But at the same time, like I didn't blame my dad for what he was. Even that back then. In recovery, I can do that now easy. Yeah. And not understand they just didn't have the tools that they needed. Right. But even then, I didn't blame neither one of them. I just that was the situation, and I think that led to my mom enabling a lot of what guilt, shame, and remorse she had for me. So she like, always would try to serve me off something like that, you know, that I would manipulate out of her or whatnot. Yeah. But she ended up going to prison out there at the ladies' prison back in I don't know, 80 or whatever years it was. But she only did a couple of years. Because they knew the situation, you know. So it was like, oh, okay. It was premeditated to a point, but it also was like, oh, she was getting her ass whooped, and the kid, like everybody vouched for that. So she ended up not having to do a lot of time. Right. So she gets out, and you know, later on, after a while, she got us back because we used to go visit her. Matter of fact, that was probably one of the best Christmases I've ever had was going out there to Draper to visit her. Wow. Because they hooked it up. Boom, boom, boom. They gave me, I got this like Michael Jackson doll with all the, really? Like what does 50 Cent say with all the zippers? Boom. I got that Michael Jackson doll, and I was like, I was lit. I was good. Yeah. And that was like one of those memories you remember when you were a kid. But she ended up coming back home, and man, she worked her ass off to get us all back together again. You know, all of our children, even though we moved around in different places and different whatnot, she always had this gritty determination to make sure she kept her children under her wing. And regardless of her education, regardless of being on welfare, regardless of not having a lot of support or like, you know, like spousal support, right? None of that. Like she always made sure she didn't get her driver's license till she was like 32, you know. But I remember when she got out, one of the first things she did for all of us, but specifically for me and my older brother, was we wanted to go to the WWF and see Hulk and Andre the Giant. Yeah. And she made it happen. She got us on the bus 3-hour bus ride, UTA back in the day. Boom.
To Salt Lake.
Yeah, to Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Yep. To go see Andre the Giant. And I was like,
sick.
that was one of the most beautiful memories I have of like, man, my mom, like, she did that. She got some she got a bucket of KFC and we ate on the way up there. It was cool. It was a good feeling, man, to know that, like, especially in hindsight, right? Because you're like, damn, we had it bad. Oh, we should have been all traumatized and all this crazy stuff. But it wasn't. It was all love.
Right.
You know, it was all love. So it's hard to like reconcile the fact that you have all these aces, right?
Yeah.
You have all this adversity, yet like you never know. It's like, you know,
You don't know.
You don't. If you don't know, you don't know.
Right.
You know. So it's like,
dude, that's like those. So those kids at Ben Lomond. That there was some grit at Ben Lomond from a lot. So the thing I noticed about a lot of those kids at Ben Lomond was they spent a lot of time outside.
okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like more than some of the different schools who kids would spend a lot of different socioeconomic situations. You know, like the Ben Lomond kids like to be outside.
Okay.
They like to be hanging, and that's healthier than
Like being on a device or something.
Yeah,
Or
yeah. Like so, then you had the other kids are just like that maybe have more money. They're inside.
Right, because they're more bought into like,
and
I
they're-
want to be an influencer.
Yeah, and
My
they're not
parents
as.
have money.
But those kids at Ben Lomond were like they had some grit. Like it's like they didn't. Some of them weren't afforded the opportunity to have anxiety.
right. That's a good point.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they don't know what anxiety. Like it just,
Yeah.
you know, like
It's-
so. There's just a little bit. It was just I noticed that.
It's very hard to understand, like even as today when I'm trying to understand like what they say is a trauma response, if that just felt normal, you know,
Yeah.
and if you're used to it, like that's just how it, like you feel something, you know something's going on, but you're like that's you don't know to say you're sad.
Yeah, yeah. And it's the kids nowadays. I mean, it's sad on all levels, like for all kids because of these phones. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
That's the hit.
Like these phones, just everybody's, and it's just
So
so like the anxiety word, and anxiety is off the charts because they're not spending as much time outside.
Yeah, that's the hit,
You know?
man. Yeah,
So-
for real. It's hard because it truly, like, I believe has this like need to go back to the idea that it's going to take the village to raise each member of that community.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're a kid, you know, it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, what part of the village you are. Like it takes that community, like deep sense of connection to like pull them away from that because they don't, that's like the pharmaceutical thing, you know, phones. Oh, well, I got a phone. My mom needs to call me at school. I gotta have it.
Yeah.
And then okay, it sounds like the doctor prescribing me, you know.
Yeah, lower tabs.
Yeah. It's like, dang, okay, but is it?
Yeah.
Because we're really like now it's like you just see somebody and it's hard. It's hard sometimes because you see how bad you see that what it takes them away from.
Yeah.
I think that like the whole phone thing and that the social connectivity is creating like a big illusion of like an actual support system.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Wow.
definitely
Right.
separating everybody, even though we think we're all connected, you know?
Yeah, it's like everyone can be an actor.
Yeah.
You're like more. So I was talking to these kids I'm at Clearfield now.
Okay.
And I was like, bro, like I was pitching at them. I was like, imagine if if no one could bring a phone to school, like, and you guys all just rolled up. There's no phone. Yeah. There's no phones. And you just had to like at lunchtime. There's no phones. Like there's just you had to talk and hang out. And I was thinking like they would have a better time. It'd take a minute.
Yeah, they would.
And some of them were like, actually, because then they wouldn't be in the room with each other all the time. When you have the phone, you're basically in the same room with everyone else, even though you're not. So like, oh, I see all my friends are hanging out at that so-and-so's house. They didn't invite me. And then, or, you know, it's like a constant comparing, worry, fear.
Yeah.
You know, but I didn't know where everybody was at. Like you'd see their bikes. Oh, they're over.
Yeah.
I'm going to go see if they're over at Mike's house.
Catch them on a landline.
Oh, yep, they are. There's their bikes parked in the front yard.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
It's that was that's healthier than everyone knowing where everybody is, or the kids getting a text message or they send out maybe they send out a vulnerable text and then the person leaves them on red. And now they got to worry about that. They're like, oh damn, like they don't like me. Like I do that myself. I send out a text and no one gets back to me. I'm like, damn, did I say, was that me? Like
you're all checking the punctuation and shit.
Did they take it wrong?
Yeah.
You know, it's
like a cue.
It creates an insecurity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think it's ruining social skills because of that.
Yeah.
You know,
it's fucking rude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's sometimes I get offended when somebody will put a like instead of a heart. I'm like,
yeah.
But no, that's an interesting piece. It's one of those things because I spent, you know, from the time I was about 15 to like 17, I probably spent about 85% of that locked up as a juvenile, you know.
What? Wait, say that again. What ages?
From I would say about 13 to 14, all the way up to like 17 till I had to get emancipated because I was headed to prison, and I never ended up having to go there. But you know, I spent a lot of times like we were discussing. I was gangbanging and stuff, and one of the biggest things that I recall again looking back is that I wanted the same way you're talking about the kids. Like if they were disconnected, they would see that they want that.
Yeah.
When I got locked up and I got that guidance and discipline from a lot of these big Samoan dudes from U of U and all these dudes over here at Mill Creek and O&A and Genesis and Wilderness, that they took me in and I would do good, but they gave me some of this guidance that I was always missing, which made me revert back to the streets and do this other thing that, you know, this loyalty to something that really wasn't a good teacher of being a good person. Yeah. So when I got there and I was like, man, what's up, man? You know, you ain't gonna tell me nothing. Yeah. And they're like, boy, I'll put it on you, okay? Yeah. And I'm like, yo, try me, you know. And they did. They I don't know. I'm not, you know, we won't put it out there like that, but they did, and I respect it for that because it also it said, hey, again, socially that's not acceptable, and you're not gonna do that here. So it made, I don't want to say conform, but it lent to me wanting to achieve or to do better or to be a part of rather than apart from.
Damn, that makes me think, because that means when someone's hard on you like that as a kid, and I tell all these kids, that means they love you. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're like, bro, I ain't gonna let you act this way. Or the person that wouldn't love you would just be like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so like if you can get that through to a kid, like, bro, you can't, I love what you just said. You're like, you can't act this way in public or out in the world. You're not going to add to the stream of life by acting this way.
Yeah.
And now you're locked up and you think you're going to act that way in here. Like, dude, I got to teach you, bro.
Yeah, and this would be a good a way to think of a translation to do this. But the way I do it when I'm sponsoring somebody is, hey, look, you got two best friends, homies, day ones, right? One of them is like, you know, they hitting the pizzle and they're like, shh, man, forget them, man. They don't know they don't know how hard you got it.
Yeah.
Come here, man. Come and talk to me.
Yeah.
I'm with you. You see, take a hit. Come on.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, he knows me. That's my dog.
Yeah.
The other friend, he doing a little something. So he's like, you know you messing up.
Yeah.
And now and you're like, oh, you just hating. Yeah. Or you don't know what I'm doing. Oh, But who the real friend?
Yeah.
You know, how do you translate that to the kids that are influenced by their peers? Yeah. That, like, if they're just being yes, man, I don't really want to mess with you because you don't know enough. You know, not yet. Like that's a hard thing to understand, to switch that over to that. I don't know if it is. Maybe you know that.
No, it is. Yeah. It is hard because then a lot of those kids, especially kids, right? Like if we're gonna, a lot of they lose friends, and then they got it's just like, well, when an adult gets sober, you lose friends. I mean, you're used to you think they were your friends, but now you don't really have no one to kick it with. So it's kind of the same thing.
You feel you feel alone again, or you feel taken from them. Yeah,
and it takes a while till you that circle of influence builds back up on this other side. Yeah. You see, like with kids. I mean, the kids are the hardest, bro. Kids with the weed. Is like, how do you show? Like they'll use it, and they're like, and it doesn't like affect their life too bad. They'll be like, it actually helps me, helps me, Hawk. Like I actually study better. Like blah blah blah. And some of them have some valid like it's hard with the weed because they haven't suffered enough yet. But like they are suffering. Like they don't really see that it's the weed that's causing them to suffer. You know what I mean? Like, God. So it's just like trying to get these kids to understand the weed is going to block them from feelings of accomplishment. That's the biggest thing. Weed isn't one for ambition. So then when the kid is in a relationship with it all the time, they can't get anything done, and now they have anxiety because their parents are on them,
Their life starts to fucking fall apart.
Yeah. One of the biggest things I try to say is you're not going to be able to get anything done if you stay in a relationship with weed.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's true.
I love the way you say that relationship.
Especially when you're young like that,
Yeah.
I mean, really anybody, but especially when you're young.
Well, we were the ones back in the day, right? Be like, man, we need to make this legal. Stimulate your mind, Smokey. And now I'm like, listen, kids.
Listen, kids. I was wrong.
I smoked all those blunts. I tell you now, this ain't the move. Okay.
Oh, dude, that is funny, bro.
Yeah, man, I love the kid thing. I don't like to say kids because it's like, oh, I got a 16-year-old. I call him baby boy because like it's just a play on the idea you think you grown, but we really not that grown.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I'll call kids up to. I'll call a kid up to 25.
Right.
Huh?
Really?
Yeah,
30. I mean, I was 35, still acting like a kid.
I'm still a kid for sure.
He's young. I'll be like a 25-year-old and be like, man, you're just a young ass kid.
Yeah. I was
Trying
when
to
I
grow
was
up.
25. I was dumb as hell.
I know.
But
So
like,
invincible.
I don't know, bro. So have you thought about moving into working with kids?
Initially, that's where I wanted to go. I mean, one of the big things.
You can do both, but
I know. Well, I love being able to fathom that, like, you could somehow you could be in a place where it's more malleable. And you can really put some influence if they can buy into believing that you walk down that path.
It's if you put yourself in a position where those kids like respect you, and they probably need somebody like you. In your life.
Definitely.
And that's how you get across.
I at least need to get you. I need to get you linked up. I need to have you come out to to Clearfield.
Okay.
And like, have you ever spoke to like some health classes or anything?
No.
Yeah,
No.
I'll try to line that up.
That'd be dope.
Another place I would talk. I think Ogden City, hearing from a dude like you at like Ben Lomond, because it's like all those kids, those gang kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ben Lomond or Ogden High.
Definitely.
But I mean, I could at least, if you're interested in that, like
absolutely,
because that would be, you'd be good. I mean, it's all free. I've spoke, obviously that. There's no money in.
That's where, but don't mistake that's not where the richest is.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's a hard. And once you catch that piece, spiritual richness is way more valuable than monetary gain out of anything.
Well, but then it's so you're turning your life over to you've turned your will and life over to the care of God, and you're saying, all right, I'm going to help God's children now. It's like, then the faith side of that is like, well, God will take care of me. And I've seen him take care of me since I've, devoted my life when I started this in 2010 to now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how, like, I look at this building, I'm like, how did this even happen?
Hawk was over here running around trying to make things happen. And he over there sitting back, be like,
just like,
I got it.
Just chill out, dude.
Chill
Quit
out, dude.
stressing. Like, but that's what's cool when you start getting into that, bro. And like this, my work, a lot of my work's gone with kids.
I love that. Yeah, that's
Damn,
that's so dope. I love
Yeah.
that, man, because that's a big that transition piece, man. Because you got all this stuff happening inside their body, right? From
Yeah.
12 to
Yeah.
26 or 7 to where things in all that stuff is happening to them, and at the same time we're trying to conform them, while at the same time we're trying to we want to try to look for things to block out that's not going to be helpful to them. And really it's like, it's going to organically turn into what it is. You can't control it. You can hopefully just have them in places that allow them to get enough experience. It's a fascinating place to work, I think.
It really is. And you're really planting seeds.
Yeah.
I mean, these kids might not hear you, right, but they hear you, but they're not ready to implement,
right?
But then all of a sudden they look back, and then you planted a seed that they implement later, that starts to grow. And that's with the kids. I think that's the way I look at it. I'm like, damn, I just got to plant some seeds in their head,
for sure,
help them see, and then and sharing your side of it all a little bit with them. You got to be careful with kids, because it's like you can't get too raw with them,
too explicit. Yeah,
but like it's dude.
That's a good point.
It's been good. Like I just took a job. I'm at Clearfield High this year, and I was in vice principal, but I moved back into being a strength coach. I'm a strength coach for the teams, and then I have other I have some PE classes where I work with kids.
That's cool.
And bro, like, so I guess this was my first week back, and I had a relapse I told you I struggled with kratom.
Yeah.
And that was been a hard thing, and last year I had to go to rehab, and then when I got back out of rehab, I was at Northridge High. They moved me to Mountain High. And so then I was at Mountain High, but then I just I'm walking around the track yesterday or the day before with all these kids, and because I'd worked them out, and it was like my PE class, and I'm rocking around with all this group of kids, and I'm talking to them about everything, telling them about, just coaching them, and I started getting emotional. I was like, damn, bro, like, look at my job.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? And then the kids were going in, and I just kind of stayed out there for a minute, and then I got even more emotional. I was like, because this last year with me relapsing and me being in the position that I am in with SOAR, and I got kicked, I got let go of here for a while, you know, and so it's just like hard, and a part of me was like, damn, how does this? But then I caught the glimpse. I was like, dude, all this has happened so you can get to this job. To wake you up and to and I just caught a beautiful spiritual experience that like is like, dude, this is a trip how this disease works.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's like one of those Point Break waves.
Yeah.
Remember Patrick Swayze?
Oh, bro,
remember?
Favorite show of all time.
Word, bro. It's like nowadays we're looking to catch that wave, but then we want to just take a picture of it and not enjoy it, right? At the concert, we got the phone out rather than enjoying it. That moment is that flow, that piece that you ride into, and then you it's elusive, so you want to like, oh man, this spiritual experience, like I want it to last forever, but we know it's not. Yeah. But at the same time, you want to appreciate it. And just embrace it. I mean, that's it right there.
You start seeing where like the blessings exist in this disease. Yeah. When so it's like SOAR, right? School of Addiction Recovery. Mm-hmm. I was talking to a dude last night in group, and he's like out in the gym, and he's like, man, I wish I wouldn't. He's got like 35 or 40 days sober, so he's getting off of meth, but he's like waking up, like he's like, oh, bro, I was like, and he'd been running a lot of his life. I mean, he's about my age, and I don't want to bring up his name, but even though he wouldn't care, but he was like kind of like pissed. He's like, why have I waited so long? Like, why have I waited so long? And I'm like, damn, bro, but like this all ends up making sense when you get some time, just like you have, And then where now you start living that 12 step.
Yeah.
And then it's like, damn, like I was enrolled in the school of addiction for 30 years, learning about the disease, getting my PhD.
Right.
And now it's like, no, I think how many, because you got your degree in the school of addiction, you got your PhD with, I mean, you got like a double PhD because you got the experience with poverty. You've got the experience with, with your mom, your dad, prison,
like a triple
JJS, with you as a kid, gang banging, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like triple PhD.
Yeah.
And now you're sober, and it's like, did God, you've been in this, and now look at the fisher of men you can become.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because of that experience.
Right. And I don't afford myself to regret any of it.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I wouldn't prefer my 27-year-old daughter to hear that, because she'd be like, Psh,
oh yeah,
you know, you was a piece of shit. And I was like, yeah, I get it, baby. I was a piece of shit. I took her to literally 3 houses down from Lincoln, up, boom, smoking crack, boom, looking out the windows, blinds all busted right here, still on Patterson. And my daughter comes up to me like, Dad, I'm hungry. And it's midnight. And what do? You sit there. Shh. Hold on. Damn, bro, man, that hurts my heart. I'm sorry, baby. Yeah. I did that. I feel guilty as shit. But this has brought me here today to be able to be present in your life to what you're struggling with. Yeah. This is why I can't hold on. I don't allow myself to be afforded any regrets, because did I want that stuff to happen? I probably not. Did I need the challenges? Was the obstacle the way? It absolutely was, And it's just like, wow, okay, that's all a part of the picture. I don't want this perfect portrait of what it was supposed to have or could have been or should have been. Yeah. I like the broken up pieces and all that. You know what I mean? Because then it lets, like you said, it gives you that garden variety gratitude. Because then you see some stuff like, oh, man, I woke up. I'm not, I'm not thinking, obsessing about feeling that feeling. I don't need to get jacked. I don't need to be blown. Like, just, it's good, man.
Yeah.
It's good.
Wow, bro. So when did you take yourself out of reality? When was the first time you was it pretty young?
It was like 10, I would say. I mean, I had some older brother-in-laws, because my sister was like dating fools from Job Corps. We called them job sloths back in the day.
I used to work at Job Corps.
Oh yeah. Okay, so you know what's up. All these dudes from Cali and shit. We didn't like that. We didn't like that out here at all. Yeah. Because we was like, man, we Ogden, man. We out here. We what? It ain't where you from, it's where you at, man. What's up, cuz? So it was funny because but my sisters, they were beautiful women, so they would date people from Job Corps, man, and they came in with PCP, they came in with that silver and gold paint, they came in with like all, and I'm like, wow, came in with the, my brother-in-law, man, he came in with the first boombox, played me the first rap tape, man, Run DMC, Raising Hell. And I was like, damn, he turned me out with that, Yeah. And so after that, I was following him everywhere. First little pinner, little J pinner that he rolled up for me and charged me like $10 for.
This is when you're 10.
Yeah, this is when I'm 10 years old. And mind you, again, just a single mother, raising 5 kids, got two, teenage girls that are already out there promiscuous. Yeah. So they bringing in influences to me at that age, and I always say that my father, my direction was, my idea of what a man was supposed to be was, how can I get over on you? How much of a player can I be, right? Yeah. How much can I rob or steal from something? Like, what kind of big licks can I do? These things that I thought was supposed to like somehow like make me a man was in total contradiction of what I really realized what made a person a man.
Wow. Bro.
And it was just like, wow. Okay, I was, everything that I was guided, it veered way left. So it really was a trip, and yeah.
So did you start hard drugs? Like when was it? Like you was doing hard drugs?
I mean, the PCP was at 10 years old, and talk about getting wet. Like
PCP's crazy.
Yeah, bro. Like you don't like. You don't want to be in the, like, I was in Vietnam, bro. I'm naked outside on these Chevy Chase apartments in West Side at 10 years old, jumping out the window and doing like weirdo stuff. And I was like, oh gosh, let's do it again, you know? Yeah. And they dipped those cigarettes in the thing, and boom, that was their thing for a minute.
What is PCP? Is that a hallucinogen?
No.
Or is it like a speed?
No.
It's mildly hallucinogenic.
Yeah, it's like the closest I think.
It's a phenethylamine. Right?
Okay. The closest I come to even fathoming that is like sniffing gas or paint, where you just you're gone.
Okay, so
you're
it's dirty.
Gone. It is not one of the. It's not even a high that I feel like I could get addicted to because it was too much for me to handle.
It's a disassociative anesthetic.
It is weird. It's a trip. And they were bringing that stuff in like.
What they would dip a cigarette and then you just smoke it.
Yeah. And then don't go and don't go the extra length and put it in as a P dog, because then now you got crack, weed, and the PCP. And I'm like 11, 12 years old, taking, you know, we knew about being crackhead and boom, boom, seeing the little glass pipes on TV, New Jack City type of stuff, right? But I never correlated that with smoking a P dog, and so I thought we were just.
So it's called a P dog.
Yeah, and you're basically smoking crack, bro.
Yeah.
And at an early age like that, 12 years old, like you like I'm over here with my little 12-year-old buddies, and we over here doing weird stuff.
Yeah.
Weird stuff at 12 years old.
What are those buddies that you were hanging out with as a kid? Where are they now? Do you know, like?
Man.
Can you think of anyone? I'm interested because like I can't imagine taking you didn't even. Yeah, 10 years old, like you start taking yourself out of reality at 10. It just like that's just got to set that, because that brain is so learning, and that's just got to set that up so quick on addiction.
Yeah, it really did.
Like, I mean, did a lot of your buddies end up being in and out of prison? Or?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, I was banging Trece. And that was a prominent gang around here. You know, they even got sanctions and shit made because of that, because a lot of stuff happened. But, you know, I just recently, because of the little thing that I've been doing in the park at Leicester Park, homeboy seen me. He's like, Lewis? And I was like, I didn't know him. I couldn't recognize him. Tatted up, doom. Just got out. Not even, I think he had like 45 days. Boom, already. Boom, you got any blues?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, David. I'm like, this is the homeboy. This is, you know, this is the homie. And long story short, man, ended up making a phone call right then and there. He said he wanted to go get help, and he up over there over there in the valley now.
Wow.
And so I said, wow. I said this is, you know, that's one of those little spiritual experiences, spiritual riches that we get. But for every one of him, you know, I left here yesterday. Yeah. Turned around the corner to just tell my cousin hi. Wow. See the homeboy Lil Jojo. They're watching. I'm like, bro. So what you gonna do? This is what O.J. Simpson said to Richard Pryor when he was smoking crack. So what you gonna do? That's all he kept saying to him. So what you want to do? Yeah. And that's what I'm telling him.
Yeah.
I said, I'm gonna get better. I just need a job. But what you want to do?
Yeah.
You know, here's a couple little ducats, man. If you ever need anything, bro, and you think you want to change, or you want to work something different, give me a call. Boom. Yeah. You know, and that's like, damn. So that's why I have this infinity for being able to just land this spaceship right here on this block, because it's like and not many people like fathom that, but you might have heard this back in the day, like, you know, Ogden was considered like the redheaded stepchild of Utah, in the sense that like it was always grimy, and so there was a lot of stuff happening, and I'm glad it's not all the way like that anymore, from what I can see, but it's a tough road, man, when you still see that going on, and it's still right there in your face, boom, just glaring.
Yeah, that's wild.
What was your drug of choice?
I mean,
Everything.
Yeah, you know how that goes. So, you know, you got the 90, so I'm doing crank, boom, 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 blast it, you know, making it cool. Then, you know, we start getting heavier into coke, trying to, you know, do the club scene and do all that, man, sipping on some Hennessy with ice and boom, smoking blunts and then just trying to maintain on that cool front. And that's a whole different social aspect to the addiction because, you know, it normalizes it.
Yeah.
But then, boom, at 1 a.m. when Teasers is closed and Jocks is closed and all these clubs are closed, everybody going to Denny's and getting some food or somewhere, you know, it was before Beto's. They had no Beto's yet.
Yeah.
And so instead, Lou was going over here to the barbershop.
Yeah.
Barbershop was open 24 hours. If you wanted Old English, which they don't sell here, barbershop give you Old English at 2 a.m.
No shit.
Yeah,
wow.
Barbershop was where you pedal those rocks. And so Lou was gonna go over here and still keep going. And, you know, that's when I obviously was introduced to that stuff that kind of cultivated into, it wasn't so hard for me to just to go, boom, start to buy crack, you know, when I'm 21 years old, 22 years old. And then that was a thing. Ended up going to rehab for that. Up at the hospital, Ogden Regional, boom, I got out of there. Like there was a year that I went, I went a whole year, was ready to celebrate having a year sobriety.
Yeah.
And so I celebrate, I go buy a cold pack and I go buy some yayo and boom. And my wife is looking at me like you don't just see what just happened there. Like all these people are here for you. You dirty dirtbag. I made this happen so that these people can come and respect you and to be sober. And you leave and go and do this.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Did
wow.
you go back out hard after that?
Oh yeah, because that's when I mean, in that rehab is 2007 when, you know, that's where this opiate epidemic started.
Yeah.
That's where I learned about oxys.
That's only chapter 1.
Yeah, that was like, that was the first chapter, man.
Right.
And so now, like, you get me going, like, you concentrate a small bottle and that little sound of that's still a trigger to me today.
Yeah,
even if you got
pill bottle.
Yeah, that thing, that right there. I don't care if you got like prenatal pills, like damn, like it would stop me in my tracks. I know what size they are and everything. If you just shake that bottle, you know what I mean. You know, yeah.
Yep.
And so that really boom, and that just sent on this whole trajectory of like you got the little candy man over there in Brigham. I don't know if you remember that little situation.
Oh, he was a doctor.
Boom, yeah. We were meeting up with him in Domino's parking lot. Just boom, here $75, write the script. Wow. And then now we got green apples by the handful, and we over here. We in our minds we think we out here. We got
These
this
are
whole
the blues, right?
They're the green. They're the green
15s.
80s.
Oh,
the
this
Oxy
is way
80s.
before
Oxy,
my
yeah.
time.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Before
See,
my time.
nostalgia, right?
Yeah.
Jeez. Before they messed. I don't even like this.
Yeah.
You know, obviously we're not gonna go into that, but like it just put this whole little network together of a lot of those in my family. I don't know if I told you this, but like my mom died of an overdose. My sister died of an overdose. My brother died of a suicidal overdose.
Yeah.
You know, placing all them patches on and boom, going up and boom, 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 done. Because we were all in network with like this whole, you get your little scripts this day. We all had this each week.
Yeah.
We had it all set up, so we were kind of like,
we
thought we were making money, but we were probably doing more than we were doing, and it was just a big mess, and we just boom. So when I hear a name like Sacklers, I'm ready to like poke them in their neck real quick because it's just. So it's just.
Did you watch that documentary?
Yeah.
Or that movie?
Yeah. Dreamland, all that stuff. Bro.
I think I'm a product of that on a little bit too.
A little bit.
Well, I got a little bit into the oxys when they were going.
Okay.
But it was more like that. I was more like just linked up because I had back surgery and shoulder surgery. So, and they were just handing them out, you know, and it's not their fault. Like, God, I hate to blame, but I just remember like you could get a script.
Yeah,
I
they
could
were
go
handing
in
them out.
anytime, you know, and like they don't do that now. You can't get away with that.
I had
now.
a fat OxyScript in like 2017, 2018.
Still, huh?
Yeah, still. And
that's far. That's deep in the game already.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of I can brush off some of it, but at some point, I know this just being on the clinical side of mental health is that you get people coming in and they're trying to, in essence, sell you something. When they bring us free little swag stuff and they doing stuff for us, I'm like, what's wrong? What's the catch here?
Yeah.
You trying to have us give this to our patients, but I'm not going to just like willy-nilly like try to like condone methadone or Suboxone or any of that. Like no, it's going to be hard pressed for me to think that if you're doing it like this and it's some like I don't know. It's a tough. I don't like. It's hard to get into that because you really gotta be educated about what does really work. Yeah. And, going back to that whole like mindful of whether or not this is just more harm than it is helpful, like the weed. Is it really gonna be conducive to your well-being? If we're not gonna even try the baseline and see where we're at, and if we can manage and find means of dealing with it on our own, and being okay with the resilience and the perseverance and the challenges, and then say, oh well, this is something extra. Whether it's the SSRI, all those type of stuff. Yeah. Like it's hard to say.
It is hard to say, bro. I mean, the drug methadone and those methadone clinics, like that, anyone that I've worked with or seen that goes on methadone becomes soulless. They are just a walking. I mean, you can't get off of that drug. So it's like, but at the same time, I don't know I don't know everything.
Right.
I don't know, and I think it has helped some people. I know Suboxone, and I can think of a handful of people that use subs and maybe take a little crumb a day or whatever, and it just helps them and knocks down cravings. And I know, and some of my dudes that I've worked with have been on it for a long time, and they put together a nice life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like it's hard to, but at the same time, like you can get sober and be in recovery and use God as your drug. That's the route I really want people to go. But I don't know, some people maybe don't have the diligence that it takes to I don't know. You can jump in. I'm just spitballing.
It's hard because it's one of those elusive things. Having had a spiritual awakening, where did that happen?
Yeah,
I can't find it.
Dude, I heard a lot of people that just don't have spiritual awakenings, like ever.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Sorry, not to interrupt.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
It's hard to measure what it takes to get to where we're at as like, in recovery when it's fortunate. So individualized, like, and we all talk about spirituality, and like, I'm a spiritual person. Obviously, I know both of you guys are.
Right.
But like, that's hard to find for some people in the beginning.
And some take their own lives because they can't find anything. So I do get it. So that's a hard one, man. And I don't want to knock anything, but my thing is that, coming to this educational side of treatment and recovery, it's like, okay, like for the most part, like harm reduction is merely to prevent harm to the community, not to give that person recovery.
Wow, I never thought of it like that.
That's just my personal opinion and what I've come to realize, that yes, you're gonna put in money because it's gonna be less hospital stays, less jail visits, and all that, robberies, all that stuff. But is the monkey ever gonna get off their back?
Wow.
Damn.
Now, how do we get you to see that there is anybody that comes through the spot over there at the center that has that MAT or any type of deal with that? I'm not going to push or try to preach to them about any type of 12-step or any type of recovery. What I'm going to say is, hey, I understand that monkey's still on your back, and if you ever feel like talking about it or you want to try to get that off there, let's talk. Because I was on Suboxone for 2 years. Working over here at a utility trailer, boom. And I was functioning, but like you said, soulless.
Yeah.
Soulless.
Blocks you from the spiritual highs. Really.
Yeah.
I was on subs for like a little over a year.
Yeah.
And they like helped. But then I was just on Adderall, so.
Yeah. Or, that is good, bro, what you just said. So you like that. You're interested in helping people get the monkey off their back.
That's truly where I find that's where the riches is. That right there is when you see that light in somebody's eyes come back and you see them feel like they have that worth again. And again, like I said, I don't know if this is the right time to get into this, but it's a trip how I ended up finding you in this place. How ironic, because it's so close to home. I've been trying to avoid this block. I've been trying to avoid this. They say avoid people, places, and things. Yeah. Patterson was that thing.
That is wild.
The barbershop, the all these different little things that bring it up. But it was, we always learn in early recovery that it ain't no matter where you go there. So, but it's just like, man, understanding what, like, and I came to a little bit of like an idea of regret to the idea, like what you said about homie earlier about not having found this earlier when you're talking to him in the gym. It's like, man, how did I not find? I've been in recovery for 11 years. How did I not like know this was going on when y'all was doing this? Because it's the same time that I started. So I was just like, damn. But at the same time, I'm like, wow, I ended up here at this time full circle for a reason. And so I feel like it's amplified my recovery in another spiritual, because bro, I just took a trip to Austin, Texas to try to join a gang that was deeply embedded into I'll just call it a mutual aid group, right? Yeah. Specifically, I don't want to say it's a specific 12-step program, but it was very, very like, you got to do it this way and there's no other way to do it. And it was like, okay. But what I'm learning from being on the educational side of things is like, hey, like you got to let people understand their path, whatever that may be, whether it's through this or through that or through whatever. If it's only through finding God, then and they able to truly see the spiritual awakening in their own self, then dang, that's what's up. And I have found it through what I did, but I was mutually exclusive and loyal to that, like it was gang. Yeah. And what I've come to realize is like, man, seek. Like I like to be educated, so I need to seek. And that's where like, boom, that's where these things start to be, you start to attract these different things and you're like, oh, this been here all along. And you didn't realize it. It's hard to sell it because you can't tell somebody what it feels like. You said. Yeah. Right. So it's just like, wow, okay, let's go. Like now, like I leveled up my spiritual connection through what's happening here, and I feel like, man, this is like another level up.
Yeah, I got the feeling the other night when you were talking, dude, in group. I was like, damn, I think God brought this dude into SOAR to help people. Yeah. I thought about that, like, because you said some, like you helped me that night, bro. Yeah, like you said some good stuff. Like there's been a lot of I was like, stuff. Who the hell's this guy? Well, this guy's noses. He's been enrolled in the school of addiction and knows the disease.
Yeah. No, I love what you do, bro. I love that. Like I told you, I didn't want to gas you up because I know that's what we kind of stem from that same root and branch, in the sense that, like, there's always a tinge of like competition and like it's same thing. I can get resentful, or I can get it works for us in a lot of ways because it makes us like want to be achieved. Most addicts are deeply wanting like go get and they're hustler. Like my director always says, like, if you want a job done, ask the addict, or they'll get it. Don't ask how they did it, but they'll get the job done. I'm like, what you need? They so they love that, and in the same regard, like, man, can I tell you about like okay,
tell me
all
about
right, all right, because this is like it's just profound for me to have turn around this full circle. So I work over there at the spot, right? And I'm barely interning there to get my hours in for school.
How long you been there?
I've been there a year now, actually, working there. But
this is Brighton?
Yeah. So
I love Brighton.
Yeah. So I respect and I love what they've been able to do in applying this thorough model of recovery through like not just residential, but the aftercare and that support through alumni and different groups, community groups and stuff. Sure. So I take the clients out to FTR every Saturday. Yeah. And so I was just fascinated by
my good buddy Ian started that. I talk to Ian probably like once a week. He's a good. I've always loved FTR because I loved him. He's not like, he really is real, and he put together, like, you know, you get a lot of people on the social media and they appear to put together a program, and they try to be an influencer on the social media, but there's nothing behind it. There's not a real program.
Right.
It's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But not that dude. You know, and me and him, I think he started FTR like 3 years after I started War or something, and their model's a little different. But like, I watched him, and I remember one time I never had that overly competitiveness against him. It was always like I was kind of a fan of his, you know, because he was an artist,
right?
And he put it together like with the right heart, you know. So like I love FTR, you know, and I always would play off him. I'd watch him do something. I'd be like, damn, dude, this dude's creating art. And so like, it'd fuel me to create art. And I think that's a healthy, you know, you talk about
absolutely.
Like, because there's so many drug addicts and alcoholics and mental health problems. The door's wide open, and we can't, I don't think we can close it. So there's got to be programs. There's got to be people creating art for people, because there's too many people. That, you know, like SOAR's not the fit for everybody. You know, like, I don't know. So sorry.
No. I love it because it just brought me full circle and finding out like that you godfathered in people like Ian to do what they're doing and other places that are locally around here. It established, basically opened up for me this frontier of understanding, like, hey, we can go to these people that have means and ways to be of service and help us, but instead of going and say, hey, we in recovery, hey, can we tell you that it's important for you to help us? You go in there and say, hey, we in recovery, we want you to help us because we're doing something with fitness and something that's going to be beneficial to like this whole mind, body, and spirit. This is the piece. That's the hit right there.
Right.
A lot of traumatic events can be related to like this psychological memory of what's been stored in your head. That's why we stay obsessive, right? That's why that allergy still lingers. And so we continue to put that out there. And so now we don't know how to deal with that. But we can become involved in something like the 12 steps and become, we can become fully recovered from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body.
Yeah.
However, you can go to 12 steps for 11 years like myself and still be smoking cigarettes, still be feeling yucky, still be feeling all like depressed and anxious and still worked up, which Bill Wilson did for many years. I feel like if he had some SOAR in his life after he got recovery, it might have helped him in his struggles because that emotional sobriety is a piece. And what I'm learning from the trauma is that, it's not only psychological, but it's physiological. And now that it's stored in the body, it's good to clear this out and get, some talk, get some sponsorship, some therapy, whatever that may mean. But let's start moving this body now, and let's start churning out all that stuff that's been stored up in you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you could have had an event happen to you 4 days ago, 4 decades ago, and it can still be lingering in you. And that's that stuff I was telling you. Bro. I couldn't recognize it because I didn't know it was a thing. I didn't know I had generational trauma on me. I didn't know where's it at, And now I'm like, okay, I gotta start to work it from all different angles. That, and I love the piece that you added with the mindfulness, because I feel like that's a connection. We got the mind, we're working through steps, working through counseling, whatever that is, and then the body, you working out your body, and then you become mindful and you're working out your spirit.
Yeah, see, that's the undeniable evidence that recovery is like a spiritual based practice.
Yeah.
Because it involves your body and your mind, and like you said, you can be sober and angry. You could be, if you're angry, you're not sober. I don't think, you've got so much shit going on in your body. You're intoxicated with anger. You could be intoxicated with jealousy and like so many different things.
Right.
It's like addiction is
clean.
Is like the manifestation of our entire consciousness is like spiritual malady for sure.
Yeah.
Because and that's the only way that I can interpret it to keep like recovery in my life is knowing that like it's like a karmic thing, and to view it as an opportunity for like a spiritual based life.
Yeah.
And that's what you can't really give that to somebody.
Yes.
You can try and steer them towards that.
Yeah.
But I think programs like this that aren't just book based, and you've got a lot of passionate people that come in here and talk and like involving the body and getting the whole full circle picture involved.
Full circle.
It seems effective, but it's
Yeah, bro, that's good. Like, with where my art's going too, with my new Man in the Back stuff and everything. But like, I'm learning, like, dude, exercise, if you set the intention, is a time for you to not think. Is a time for you to not think. I'm coming in here today to not think anymore. I'm gonna turn up the music. I'm gonna feel this pain in my body as I'm breathing all heavy, and I'm gonna freaking look around, and I'm gonna be surrounded by other people that are going hard, and like, and you know what I'm saying? And it's like, dude, if you set the intention, like, look, bro, I'm done thinking today. I've been trapped in my head with fear all day.
Right.
Like, it's time for me to. I step in here, and it's no more thought. I'm gonna listen, and I'm gonna feel it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because and what it's doing is it's like. It's rearranging your whole chemistry.
Yeah.
It's rebuilding something back that we desperately need, and it's getting in touch and being in tune and being calibrated. And when you do that, it's like that Mr. Miyagi. I'm telling you, it's like that. Hey, listen, Daniel, son, I need you to go ahead and wax on, wax off.
For real.
Like, nah, man, that ain't gonna help me do this. I need to get a job. I need to go get a routine. I need a structure. I need this. I need that. No. I'm telling you. Wax on, wax off. Don't worry about that. And that all will come. And then when you have the light, when that thing kicks on, when you have that spiritual awakening and that spiritual experience, you're like, oh, now I know how to fight this disease. Now I know how to, now I get it. Like, then, it's like in the book. Like I always say, like in the book, if I focus on how it works, chapter 5, if I stay in that, I ain't got to worry about the promise. Actually, it was my sponsor that told me that. He's like, if you focus on how it works, trying to diligently be honest with yourself, trying to thoroughly follow this path, then the promises you don't have to worry about. That thing, it will be handled. I got you, Hawk. I got you. God's telling me, like, damn, I got you. Just stay over here. Do the next right thing. And it's a trip how that works, because it's hard to catch on to that when you're early and you're dying out here and you can't find a job, or you can't see your kids, or all that other stuff that starts cropping up. Yeah.
It's interesting how it all you get things, you hear things. I've heard this my whole time in recovery, and I've worked with people but like, so anytime I start going into fear and start tripping, trying to control it, work's bugging me, someone at work's bugging me, so I got to resentment starting to creep up. Recognizing it, being aware, and then turning your next action to helping someone else. You said that the other night in group. What was the thing? Honest is,
if I'm having struggle making a decision, and I'm not immediately going to a meeting or calling my sponsor or anything like that, I tend to lend myself to asking myself these questions, and it's in the book.
Yeah.
Whether or not what I'm about to do is selfish, self-seeking, dishonest, or out of fear?
Yeah.
And if I answer yes to any of those, then I might have to call my sponsor. I might have to go to a meeting.
Yeah.
And I might have to go do some service to go be present with somebody else so that I can see clearly this decision that I'm trying to make.
Wow.
You know?
That's dope.
Yeah,
That's just the go. That's like the minimum go to, at least for that spot check inventory, you know,
Yeah.
really recognizing that. And that's one of those things
And
that
that's the key to long terms, to capturing some time. Long term sobriety is asking those questions, because I'll roll right back into fear. Like fear is basically every time I start to struggle, and then I was saying the other night in group, then the next step's resentment, because I want to protect myself from that fear. So like I want to like point at someone else or appear higher up than someone else,
right?
You know, but then okay, I'm starting to go down this road. Well, yeah, bro, I'm just gonna who do I need to reach out to? Who do I need to text? Like, who can I call? You know, who can I, you know? And then it immediately pulls you out of that. You know, because it's crazy how selfish we are. You know, like my default is selfishness.
So is mine,
me.
for sure. It sucks.
I think as a society we've become so individualized that we feel like that's how we're. Oh, I'm supposed to just grit my teeth and get it, figure it out, do it, and it's all your one interpretation of what is important during the day that somebody else has no idea about or cares about. Yeah,
and we get all pissed off.
Yeah. I feel like you being as vulnerable as you've been with your journey has made it possible for you to come to a place where other people are like, oh, this is what a lot of people can't or will not do, and that's be constitutionally honest with themselves. And when you do that, then you're like, okay, this is what it is. Like I can't afford for my ego to be tarnished by your opinion, because I need to stay. I need to stay clean. So you know,
bro, and not everyone's gonna like us. That's another one I say. Like, not everyone's gonna buy into what I'm laying down. You know, or you know, if I have an idea and someone's like, you're like, why don't you like my idea? You know, like, no, bro. Like, not every. That's a thinking error to think. Sure. That's a thinking error to think that everyone's going to like us or like what we're laying down, you know? And that's been a big one for me, because I want people to like me.
Right.
You know, but like, dude, come on. Is that realistic that you're going to please everybody, Dustin? You know, like, is that realistic? Like, this ain't. And people fall into that. You know, you want to be liked, but like, dude, you ain't going to be able to keep that up. You do the best you can. We're going to make mistakes. You're going to piss people off.
Yeah.
And bro, you just talk to God about it, and then keep trying to work with people and help them. You know?
It's the whole. It's like the idea of these teenagers and their, I would say, inability to go out on dates the way it used to be.
Right.
Because of that one rejection, we will prevent ourselves from pushing ourselves out there. You remember ever being in a club, or you have a stereotype of a dude that's in a club and he ain't the one, he ain't the business, but he go up to every girl, and then at the end of the night you see him walking home with the prettiest girl. Yeah, it's because he didn't have a problem with getting his feelings hurt. Move on. You know, he just moved on. Yeah. And that's if I can just hurry up and take that note, take it like one of those Tyson hits or whatever, you know. If I can hurry up and do that, get over myself, stop your little ego, Lewis, you know, and get back out there. And then I'm like, okay, next, who else? Boom, let's go. Hey, okay, you want to be my friend? That's one of the biggest things I teach my little 4-year-old. It's like, don't be upset if you know, he likes to say hi, you know, or I like to, when he sees me out here like hugging people and be like, I love you, bro. And that's my thing, because, you know, it's just one of those things, like looking into somebody's eyes and be like, I love you, bro. Yeah. Something I never could have done. I never could have done that as a 15-year-old over here trying to be all hard, be Mr. Little tough guy, right? You know, and all I wanted was, that's probably all I really wanted in my life. But now I'm like, hey, if they tell you no, that's okay. it's okay. Guess what? They might be going through some things, son.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a trip. I gotta let that go quick.
Yeah.
If not, it eats me up.
For sure. Or like someone doesn't, say hi to you like they thought that you thought they should have, like,
right.
And then I'm like, damn, dude, are they mad? Like, did I do something? But then no, they're just going through something. It's not all about you, Hawk. You know, like, and we've talked about this before, but it's just, it's interesting, just this recovery. But I'm thankful for it because, you're right. Like the spiritual side. I told you, I don't know if I told you guys this. I can't remember her name, so this is butchering it. But she was a doctor. She was on Joe Rogan. I can't think of her name. She wrote a book called "The Coddling of the American Mind."
Okay.
Coddling. About for kids.
Yeah.
But she was talking about people in recovery. Like Joe was like, "What are some of the most people that are the happiest
recovery
you worked with?" Yeah, and she's like, actually, it's people that are in drug and addiction recovery.
Yeah.
And he's like, why? He's like, because they found a spiritual connection with a higher power and they work on staying present. And Joe asked the question, he's like, why do people work on staying present? He's like, it was a good question, I thought, like, why work on staying present?
Why?
And like, then she goes into just like, well, because it's the only moment that matters. And we're not looking down the road. We're not looking we're just right here. And if we're right here, we're usually pretty safe.
Yeah.
So like the addict's always working on that connection with the higher power. We wake up in the mornings. There's a routine of prayer and meditation, and then we have that big book. I mean, that big book, the 500-pound book to open. For people. We don't. Yeah. In here, I pay attention to this because any powerful book, people have a hard time reading it. It's like and that book, dude, those are principles of truth that no one could deny. You read it and be like, oh, like you wouldn't be like, oh, like a lot of people have a problem with step one, the powerlessness one, but that just tells me they don't understand it.
Are their egos still hurt?
Yeah.
Too big for it?
Yeah.
And that's
there's a lot of therapists and stuff. I know a lot of dudes who work with people that try to rewrite the 12 steps, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But that book's dope.
Yeah.
But we're in a relationship with that book usually, which is a special book, and then a lot of addicts are usually in a relationship with for me, the Book of Mormon, the Bible, or my two. I love so I'm, putting some pressure on the Book of Mormon daily or the Bible, reading about Christ, and that's good for you.
Yeah,
and that,
absolutely.
So it's like, so you have these routines, and now you add the exercise. You're waking up, damn, you get moving today, and then you do 50 burpees out in your lawn, and then maybe you walk up the street, and there's some sunshine. You get present. You have a prayer. And so now you're the mind, body, spirit's all rolling, and so like that's a badass. That's gonna if you have these in place, which if you're in recovery, you got to have something, or you're not gonna be in recovery for long. And you can see why it would be a happy people.
Yeah.
You can see why, like, recovering addicts usually because we're looking for fear. Even when I go I teach elders quorum in the LDS church, and a lot of the stuff that I teach, they're older men, is like I blend it with the 12 steps about the way we talk about fear and more faith, and like they haven't necessarily heard it pitched that way.
Yeah, that's sick.
That's great.
It's just sick. Like, so recovery I do believe that the person in recovery does have the chance to find exceptional happiness.
Yeah, absolutely.
When we're not, and it's because you would never get into recovery like that if you weren't suffering so bad. I mean, last question before we bounce, but like, what led you, how bad were you suffering before you got sober and went into Valley Camp? Like, So like, how did you get sober basically?
Looking for a hit. I was over there, burnt all the bridges I had. Down here in Ogden, I was over there living over there 400 South, just tent surfing with fools, just getting in some grimy stuff, messing with the, I was at the end of my road. I couldn't get no more fronts, no more credit or nothing, and I was, riding around a little '89 Nissan Sentra.
Yeah.
$2 in gas. It's where you used to pick up those, Mavericks. We used to pick up them Rolos. The only candy that sells with aluminum foil.
Yeah.
So that's the only candy you can go to start your, if you couldn't afford it.
That foil's so thin.
But that's what we would do is go steal some Rolos. God. That was the move, so we can smoke our little bundles, and then boom. But this is when you used to be able to buy little $5, $7 little balloons and stuff, and it was at the end of the road, man. And I was just like, I was back down here in Ogden and ran up on that sober house over there on 25th Street, man, and walked into a meeting, man.
Is that the one Big T works at?
No. That wasn't even there at that time.
Oh, okay.
This was just the sober house. Now it's like a coffee shop or something, a lawyer office or something. But it was just a sober house. And somebody was in there, man, and mind you, my mom had passed away or whatnot, and before she had passed away, she was trying to get me into Valley Camp, and they came across this agency called SJS, Shannon J Scholarship.
Oh yeah.
And she was giving me the application for it, and she left it on my desk, and she gave it to my wife, and they kept trying to feed it to me, but I wasn't hearing it. Basically, I go into a meeting, and I somehow shared. I was half high. They said I was nodding out during my whole share.
Yeah.
I was sharing my ass off though. And I was like, so I was just whatever. I was just complaining and, put my blame thrower out. I was blasting everybody for all my woes.
Yeah.
But after the meeting, guy come up to me and was like, hey, I heard you was talking about Valley Camp. You want to get in there, what do you think? I was like, man, forget that place, man. I try to get in there already, man. They want me to call them up every day. I'm like, what the hell? Like, you want me to call you every day? Like, you sick? Like, I can barely try to call the man to try to come and get the plug. And he's like, oh, well, actually, I'm the president. And if you want to go, we can go right now.
Yeah.
And so I pulled that, like, George Lopez on him. I'm like, right now?
No, fuck.
You mean right now?
Right now?
I think I got some stuff I got to take care of. He's like, no, you just said in there you don't got a job. You just said you can't see your kids. You just said you living out your car. What do you mean?
Yeah.
So he basically, man, he gave me a couple Louis Vuitton suitcases. They call them hefty bags.
Yeah.
I put my stuff in there. And he made me. I mean, he didn't make me, but he said, we're going to do this right now. And boom, that was 2013, December 4th. And man, I never had to look back since then, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And that's when I barely met like Big T. I met all these people that, that you're aware of. And it was just like, man, I just first I felt skeptical, right? Because I'm coming from this gang banging world of like, man, don't trust these fools. Don't put your back against these fools. Oh, they trying to be nice. What do you want? I didn't have a cold pack. I didn't have a sack. I didn't have no, nothing to offer. So what's the deal? I didn't give you no money yet. So what are you talking about? And so it was tough. I didn't want no, like, I was like, don't hug me. Don't do this. Don't do that. And none of that stuff. But
how long did you go up there for? 90 days?
Yeah. It was probably like 106 days because I was still trying to work through trying to find a place to go and all that because I didn't want to. I could have went back to either my mom's or my exes, but my brother-in-law was selling coke. My mom's they were already doing stuff like I knew like this had to be different because this was about the 6th or 7th try minus the 5 or 6 being incarcerated that were forced upon me.
Yeah. Did you have a spiritual experience up there?
They say sometimes slowly, sometimes quickly. I would say it happened slowly because of the belief that my sponsor belief that these men that knew about the Rolos, they knew about North Temple, they knew about these things. So I bought into that they knew it, then I look at them and I'm saying, oh, you know about the Paisa, you know about these, oh, and you're clean? I'm like, let me just watch.
Wow.
Yeah. And let me see. Okay. All right, you're coming up here? Like, what's the catch? I used to call my sponsor like, man, they always say, it's funny because they always say, You know, you would think we would call our sponsor for suggestions, but when's the last time you called your sponsor for advice?
Yeah.
I'll be like, man, you know what? Man, forget this, man. I gotta leave, man. I've been in here 2 weeks, man. I read the steps and the traditions. I need to go. I need to get a job.
Yeah.
He was like, you know, calm down. And he said something to me. He's like, look, Lou, you know, I was complaining about, you know, I had like $80,000 in child support, I had like $60,000 IRS, I had all this like negative credit, and I was just like tripping because I'm like, yeah, I feel better now, but things ain't better.
Yeah.
And he told me this straight out. He's like, look, Lou, things may not get better. You might have to just get better with things. And
wow.
that hit me hard because, you know, Hawk, the simplest way I could put it to somebody, if I'm like on a real quick pitch trying to just let you know what I do, it's like, look, I'm selfish.
Yeah.
And I'm here to try to get my shit together. My man told me in order for me to get my shit together, I need to go help this man get his shit together.
Hell yeah.
When I go out and help him get his shit together, then we both start to go out and then my shit starts to get put together.
Yeah.
And then when both of our shit's together, we go help a bunch of other fools get their shit together.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's sick.
That's
bro.
it. You know?
Yeah, that's it.
And I truly believe in this with every like fiber in my body. Like the way I was loyal, the way they said those liabilities of being loyal to a gang turned into assets because now I protect this. I try to protect my recovery. I try to ask myself, you know, Lou, what percentage of a program are you working today?
Yeah.
Are you going to meetings? Are you calling your sponsor? Are you doing step work? And are you doing service?
Yeah.
And if I answer, you know, each one of those is 25%, 25%, 25%. You know, there's days it's only 25%. Maybe I just read page 86 and 88. That's something I try to keep every day in my life, man. Keeps me on the right direction, man. And if I'm only doing that, I didn't go to a meeting, then I told you about the steel on steel piece. Like I have to calculate whether or not I'm working a program and try to be truly honest with myself. If I'm not, and if I'm not, you could tell.
Yeah.
I'll know I'm spiritually out because now I'm spiritually murdering everybody. What you looking like? Like, dude, you know. So it's a trip, man. You said something before, and I wanted to bring this up because you know I was baptized a prominent religion around here,
right?
Just because of the fact of how much they do for the community,
right? And
they knew the situation that we were in, but you know I was listening to some of your other shows, and you had ask old boy whether or not you believe this could happen for people who haven't had that adversity. Yeah. And he replied no, which initially I agreed upon, but then I was reflecting just right now when you said that, and my homeboy Maldo, he has a car dealership literally right there on Patterson. Right. I remember being living by him over there on 22nd and Ogden Avenue, and I used to, you know, this is early in the game when we was just smoking blunts, trying to make some raps and do this drinking Hennessy and E&J. But I used to have these two missionary kids come over to my house. Yeah. And it was the most like purest spiritual presence that I've ever felt without judgment with these two young individuals. Kids. We be in there watching football, we be rapping and cussing and drinking and all this. And for some reason, like they would just come in and because they live downstairs from us, they would just come and be present. And they didn't ever try to like, you know, drag you over here or try to evangelize me or anything like that. They just made me feel like, I almost felt like they were protecting me in a sense because there was stuff going on in the house, which they even so, like I had machetes and like ARs right here in the corner and they're just chilling here they're not even watching the game. You know, we watching the Steelers and, you know, and it just felt like there was something in them that made them like, I feel to be able to go out there and serve the world without having the adversity or that kind of challenge. I'm like, oh, maybe it is possible. You know, there's people like that. Yeah. I say if I could have my choice of sponsors in this world, it would be Forrest Gump.
Yeah. Me too.
That man right there, like, no matter the accolades, no matter the money, no matter the women, no matter the nothing, that man always exudes love and just presence in the moment.
Yeah.
What's happening now? And he's just so humble and grateful and appreciative that none of that other stuff, all those things that they, they put on there, that's the one right there.
Bro, it's crazy you bring up Forrest Gump. So it's one of my favorite shows. But so that part, Jenny getting ready to jump, doing drugs, getting ready to commit suicide.
Yeah.
Remember? And it's like New Year's Eve. They keep showing New Year's Eve, and and then so she's just miserable, living the fast life. But then it pans over to Forrest, and he's kicking it on a boat. It's simple life, laying in a hammock, and it's just showing the thing, and he's thinking about her. Remember that part? Like, but the thing, everyone, that show, like, Forrest could only see the spiritual side of life. He couldn't see the world, bro. So I love that you said that. Bro.
Yeah,
like,
that's a classic,
bro,
man.
like,
my pieces on that show is when he's running. Remember in Utah?
Yeah.
And all these people are following him.
Yeah.
And this is how we are in recovery, right?
Yeah.
We're running and we think we're the only ones on this hard path of desert and hotness and eerie. And then he just stops and he looks back. All those people right there supporting him.
Yeah.
That's us. We just don't see it.
Yeah,
all we got to do is turn around.
That's
and
dope.
we got you, bro.
like that.
In my office right now, there's that we used to, when like I said, when we used to gangbang, we used to wear Cortezes and running shoes, right? So there's a movie poster of Forrest's Cortez.
Oh,
And that's what I have in my office.
Damn.
That's what's up, man. Just keep running. Just keep going, man. So yeah, that's a favorite. All
last
time.
thing I want you to talk. What's this FRC?
It's so after I was trying to understand how I can bring something like FTR to Ogden.
Yeah.
I didn't know about you.
Yeah.
And then I get all these stories about, hey, you got to go talk to Hawk.
Yeah.
Well, the people that that Big T was gonna do it, but I didn't want to put that on him. But I was just like, hey, like I need to bring something like this into the park because I see these fools over here and they're gathering, boy. And that's the park, that's the park where I used to be all knotted out and stuff, and it was just it was an attempt for me to try to reclaim that park back and let some type of soil be planted there because there's a lot of cancer going on in that park.
Yeah.
And so part of that was just creating this, like I called it a recovery focused fitness group.
Wow.
And it's basically I hadn't had any equipment or nothing like that. We just go in there and do something similar to kind of what FTR does.
Right.
But we start out the group. They've been bringing the guys from Steps and Lano Club and some of the girls from these other places, the treatment centers and stuff. And it's been able to it's been able to incorporate the things that I truly believe in, and that's a connection, that's individual presence, and that's purpose for service.
Wow.
And
isn't that wild? Then God leads you to soar, and so now you're going to learn even more. It's going to help you run those groups over there in that park.
Yeah,
that's sick.
Yeah, bro, and that's like I thank you so much for that because I feel like truly you godfathered a lot of these programs and what happens in introducing. One of the hardest things that I felt about doing this is that there was not a whole lot of support through 12-step folks because we get so dialed in to just work the steps, and I get that, but it's not work the steps or do this. It's work the steps and I'm just trying to say, hey, there's some stuff that physically can be useful to me working these steps, going to meetings, sponsoring, and doing that stuff that I think is beneficial.
Well, so you're gonna help the people that come to your group to capture feelings of accomplishment through movement, which feelings of accomplishment translate over into feeling high, feeling proud of yourself. It increases your serotonin, right? So no one would ever say that exercise wouldn't be good for you.
Yeah.
So you get the people moving, and there's a book you should read. It's called Spark.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, Spark. I'll text it to you. Don't even trip. But and it talks about, it's the science about how the brain works best after exercise. So, you know, if you notice in our group down here, like we set the intention, the intensity's high, there's music.
Yeah.
The people who are new, they're like, oh, this is kind of scary. But they all train together, they sweat together, and then you go to group together. The walls have been knocked down from the movement. You just all suffered together. So now you go into group and you're like, a person who would never share.
Yes.
Never dare to share.
That part.
Yeah, bro.
That part.
Now they're going to share because it's like, oh, damn, we just all this. We got something in common from day one.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. And I think that's a little bit elusive when you have guys that go into a meeting, they got a little paper they got to get filled out, and they just stand on the sidelines and they're not necessarily going to participate.
Yeah.
When you hear the way people react to what you've done and what you've created, and inside that group process, that magic, it's one of those Mr. Miyagi things. They don't even know it's the magic.
Yeah.
That's that feeling of like, wow, I feel like, oh, I can talk, and I feel like the workout was so much more connected. That's the medicine.
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
the medicine.
Yeah, so I love that you bring up that mindfulness, and I love that you walk around and the way you present, like, hey, it's a very uplifting way. It's not like this old school, like, let's go. You know, there's this sense of like, man, he cares, like they care, and everybody there, like, boom, that's my thing. A gentle, they say this in the NA literature, you know, a gentle, loving touch or hug can be the best thing that somebody has hope for in that day. So when I come here, I want to be able to say, like, hey, bro, like, I got you. Like, hey, you know, I might not even say, I'll just stand by your weight bench, and I'll just like pray for you, man. Like, yes, let's do this. You know what I mean?
We're here, bro.
Yeah, we're here.
Safe.
You're safe.
That's one thing that Ian was always pushed at FTR that I loved is like on the door he said, I think the walking through the door says, breathe, you're safe.
Yeah. Simple.
Yeah.
That's being mindful, right?
Breathe. You're safe.
Breathe.
Yeah.
Sometimes I forget to breathe, and I'm like,
well, thank you, bro.
Absolutely, man.
I'm thankful you're here. Like I'm telling you, the other night, I mean, I got to know you a little bit before, but the other night, like I had when I left, I had to leave a little early. When I left, I was like, damn, bro, that dude needs to be around here. Like I got this feeling, and I felt like it's a good thing you're here.
Yeah,
so,
thank you. I appreciate that because I want to
bro.
bring value, and I'm gonna work my ass off for you, man. So I want to make whatever I can do to whatever your goals and objectives are. I want to be able to see that vision, man, and help you fulfill it. That's what I'm here for, man. So whatever you need. If it's on the back burner, if it's on, you know, whatever, man.
Thank you,
so
bro.
respect, man. I got mad respect for you. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for coming on, bro.
Absolutely.
Colin. Awesome. That was great.
Yep. Good
right?
shit.